Today we got a iPhone 11 product red edition, and this was handed off to me from another repair shop. So the issue that I found with this, the other shop said they thought it was a logic port issue, because they tested screen, battery, and charging port. But what I found with this device is this is the battery that was in it. If I take this and use a multimeter here, we poke direct to the cell, you see we have full 4 volts across, so that's a fully charged battery. 4.2 is probably the high state of charge on these, but fully charged battery. But if I flip this battery over, or actually I don't even need to flip it over. If I flatten out this flex cable here, if I poke, so it has like this tab here, it's got like a this is kind of what the connector looks like up close. You have your positive and your negative, gas, and I don't know if this is the actual pinout, so don't quote me on this. Gas and SOC, state of charge. These are also ground. So these little clips on the side of the connector are ground. And then you have 2 big tabs here and here, and then 2 data pins on this battery's BMS. One's fuel, the other is like a resistive SOC check or serial check. Might be a serial line, I'm not sure. They might even use one of these tabs out here as like a serial ground for like 1 wire, like SPI or something. I don't know. I just know the tiny pins are the data pins. It might actually literally be I2C, so it might be SCL and SDA. That would probably make the most sense. Yeah, it's probably like SCL and SDA ground. Battery minus, battery plus is probably what's actually going on there. But if I take my multimeter and I poke between these two on this battery here, yeah, I get a few millivolt, which that's not normal. If I take this this other iPhone 11 battery here, and I poke across the 2 tabs, positive and negative from the battery, on the connector, come on. It's hard to make a good contact on these. Here and there. Huh, that's weird. I was reading full voltage there earlier. That is strange. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Don't know. I was reading full volt. Oh, hi, welcome in. I was reading full voltage on that cell direct to the connector earlier. I don't know if I'm just measuring it wrong. That is quite peculiar. I wonder if they have like a lockout. That makes sense. Anyway, we're going to try this and see if that works, because I was getting a voltage reading on this one and not that one. The other thing I noticed with this, is this live? Yeah, Mr. 68, this is definitely live. Is with this, if I bring this up close, you see the shiny bit there? Right there. If I tilt it, it shines a little bit. That's a silicone BGA chip. Looking at it, it looks like on this one, it looks damaged. If you ever see little cracks or chips on the edges of these silicone chips, they're often a point of failure. You see that a lot on Nintendo Switches with like the Max power management IC. It's a boost buck controller. So what I'm going to do is pop most of the things back in here. And we're going to plug it in and give it a test. See if swapping the battery actually fixed it. Then we're going to run a, where's the thingy? TriStar / Tigris / Hydra check with that meter. There we go. All right, Taptic engine is plugged in, charging port is plugged in. There we go. Come on. Wrangle these flex cables into place. All right, all of that's plugged in. Let's see here. W Streamer, thank you, Agent. Let's see here. Reset this charging block. Double check all these connections here. Nothing. Okay, maybe that wasn't it. Well, that doesn't eliminate everything. I could try this with the other charging port I got here. What are the odds that both the charging port and the battery are dead? I'd say low, but it's definitely worth checking before we go all out into motherboard repair territory. I wish I had a power boot cable for this specific battery. That'd be handy. Nothing. Okay. Pop this off here. Jackie, welcome. Good to see you. Sorry I haven't been streaming a lot lately. Holidays took everything out of me. That's how it goes. Today's actually my birthday. I'm over here working on my birthday, as one does. All right. That's so weird. I need a sanity check on this, on my meter here. Sanity check. Oh, okay. Meter sanity check. Failed. My leads weren't plugged in all the way. Well, that'll do it. That will do it. Merry hatching day to you. Yeah. I was birthed today, 26 years ago. Oh, shut up, meter. Okay, sanity check passed. Little Deoxit D5 does wonders. I wonder if I triggered like a short circuit lockout or something. Or the motherboard might have. Let me check direct to cell measurement. I got 3.6 some volts on that connector. Not even 20-30 minutes ago. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm working on a phone. I should probably stream. Alright, pull off the protective cover here. Hi, welcome in, guys. Do feel free to ask any questions if you have any. I'm always happy to explain some shit. There we go. That's the sticker we want to remove. Yeah, that's iPhones for you. These batteries have like 16, well, it feels like 16 different protective stickers covering the cell. Or the nickel tabs that go directly to the cell, that is. Which this is not a bad thing, in this case. Having a well-protected cell is, pretty important for, you know, like not burning people's houses down and stuff. This is a used battery. I'd never send the customer out the door with this cell anyway. So I need not worry about properly replacing this with anything but a little bit of Kapton tape when we go to test it. This is a testing only kind of battery. It's a known working battery. But I want to just sanity check that I didn't like discharge it somehow. Come on. I feel like this sticker wants to fight me more than that other identical battery that I just opened. That works. We'll just scratch off the insulation so I can measure. There we go. 3.7. That is peculiar. Maybe that's normal operation. Either that or this phone motherboard just cooked another BMS. That is odd. Well, that's a problem. Battery connector on this motherboard is shorted. I just finished repair my old color cells 1980 shift register scrolling LED sign. Ooh, that sounds awesome. Thing uses a tiny clock-based AC signal from the main since it runs on 9 volts AC. No clock crystal. Wow. So it's using your mains frequency as its clock, huh? That's some 1980s stuff right there. Oh yeah. That's the battery connector, and that was all of the pins on it. Gave all of the beeps to ground, so that would definitely indicate an issue to say the least. I'm hoping it's something easy, like this PMIC that's right here. Or if it's just like a component here that decided identifies as a 0 ohm resistor to ground, or like a capacitor that's like a multi-layered ceramic capacitor that just decided, yep, nope, I'm a direct path to ground now. It's not uncommon in these devices. Probably going to end up over there either way, doing microscope stuff under the microscope. This is yep, this is 100% a board repair now. So, hey, good thing these batteries have safety lockouts. Otherwise, we might have released some of that magic smoke. Which would explain why both those batteries are reading 0 volts when the one didn't earlier. This is a direct short to ground, 0 ohms, so they do have short circuit protection. That's why when you're doing board repairs on these things, it's nice to have a power boot cable. Because the power boot cables, they do have short circuit protection, but, you know, it resets instantaneously. You used to hold the meter between your ear and your shoulder just to hear it. Yeah, that sounds like not a fun working environment. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do. I wish these were more like metal detectors where you had like a headphone jack, like a big TRS jack or a little one. I'm sure there's some nifty meter out there that has a headphone jack. All right, set all this aside. There we go. And there's our iPhone 11 board. That right there, that's a whole iPhone 11. Here is a tube of Amtech flux for scale. Yeah, gumstick iPhone. This is before they started putting right angles on it. But I think this is either the first or second year that we have a sandwich board, where you have a bottom board and a top board. I don't know if the iPhone 10 had a sandwich board like that or not. Your guess is as good as mine. It's been too long since I've looked at an iPhone 10. Man, I wish I had a microscope camera. This would be a much cooler stream if you could see the micro soldering side of things. It's been on the list of things that I've been procrastinating purchasing for, well, nearly a year now. Oh yeah, my company, Advanced Device Repair, will officially be open 1 whole year in 2 days.
Mhm.
All right, pull that up. Well, I'm at it. I'm going to pull this one up here too. Yeah. All right, so with everything disconnected, do we still have a direct short to ground on all of those tabs? Yep. Alrighty. Gonna bring all of this. Drop that on the floor. It's fine. It's fine. Alright. Gotta clean off the microscope station real quick. I still need to get a... This is what we're doing next. This is a PA amplifier speaker. And it had a beer damage. So there's an XLR jack that goes here. And there was beer spilled in it. It came from like a college frat house or something. In other tech news, I recently found a trashed Samsung VCR in the bin with optical and HDMI. Must have been the last model or something. Finally got it working again. Yeah, the new Samsung AV stuff all uses proprietary stupid connectors. It's annoying. Or Bluetooth. But you need like their receiver to do anything with their speakers. So if you find like a loose Samsung like subwoofer from like a AV set, it's completely useless without the brain of the operation. I'm sure it's hackable. Some of the older proprietary like 20 pin like 5.1 sound receivers, those were pretty easy to hack because it was literally just pinning out the 5.1 surround sound. Always a dongle hunt. See, I just shove. I'm known to like clip the connector off and then just put like these DuPont jumper wires between it and something else. Just make jumpers straight to the pins, especially if they're like there's 90-degree pins with like a proprietary jumper.
Mhm.
All right. This is going to be our Subway Surfers while I clean off the microscope station. Cable management nightmare over here. Yeah, I need to do like a big old organization day here in the lab. Probably put you guys like there-ish. I don't know. Something like that. We just got the random 3D printed bin of anything and everything. Probably set that over here. Because all I'm going to need are these. Possibly. typically, this would be all I need. At this point in the repair process, I kind of like these ones better because they're a fun shape. They're also newer and sharper. There's some sharp-ass tweezers that I got over here. Wire nightmare. I have everything plugged into the front of this because this has been mounted here before we had the fume hood. So I need to pull this out and get it like back in there, and, like route everything nicely. All right. That solder sponge is hard as a rock. Okie doke. Get all that freaking thermal paste off here. There's thermal paste everywhere. I was working on a Nintendo Switch mod chip, and like it had a weird issue, and I had to open it up after I had like pasted everything. And you touch thermal paste with your gloves once, and it's just everywhere. And I was trying to do it so I wouldn't have to replace the thermal paste. Eventually, we just gave up and removed it all, but you know, what was said was done with the thermal paste. What's the oldest tech you've worked on? 50s. There's actually a video coming out where we were working on it. It's a robot brand TV receiver, not color television, black and white, or green and less green, I guess. Like ancient TV receiver. It's all point to point. I don't know if it was 50s or 60s. But yeah, that's definitely the oldest tech I've worked on. I was talking to a guy at Open Source last year about he has like some 1930s like carbon film microphones where they have like some kind of weird carbon pellet between two plates that like, you know, vibrate back and forth, and that bridges an AC signal or something. And he was talking about trying to reverse engineer this like weird carbon pellet or precise carbon film that they used to use. And it's such a like it was such a obsolete piece of technology that like you couldn't just find them. No one manufactures them anymore. We really couldn't find very much patent information about how they were created. And yeah, it's been a long project for them. Spencer, hi, how's it going? Sounds NASA, yeah. But so that would be the oldest thing, if he ever gets back to me about that. Because I'm sure I could probably figure something out. I've done some industrial processes with, you know, like activated carbon and stuff. I'm sure I'd be able to figure out something that would work to replace those carbon films. Let's see. There we go. iPhone 11. I bet I see the problem already. See, all these components here on the edges of these connectors are conformally coated, right? They're coated in this silicone goopy underfill stuff. And there's one right here where, like, it is not. And that's usually because that component shorted, produces a ton of heat, and, like, melts it away. Let me get number 9. Number 9 large. There's an underfill remover hook. Get my solder paste spreader back in the little bin. Should probably keep these over here. I never use them over there. That's kind of the rules for where we put tools, is to keep them within arm's reach where you use them. Let's see. Is there an email I could message on your Discord? Android or yeah, just DM me directly on Discord, Jackie. I'd love to fix that ham radio. That'd be fun. And of course I'd stream it too. You can watch me fix it. Alright. I did not lock that down tight enough. There we go. See, there's a thick and a thin side of these collets for like 2 different thicknesses of blade. And is the 862D plugged in? Yes. No. So with the hot air rework station on about 200, you can heat like this gummy underfill stuff. I need to move stuff again. And that'll make it removable. Might even turn it down like a couple notches so we don't melt our plastic. Usually 200 won't melt this plastic, but this is just going to go over here. Get rid of all of that gunk so that I can measure these components here. Get rid of that gunk. And there's one more component hiding right here. There we go. All of that is gone. And out of our way. Chemtech wipes, these are great. What microscope is that? It's pretty sweet. This is an Amscope. I forget the model number. It's a wide field 10x with a 1x objective, and it's binocular. I think it's like 240 something. You can buy it on Amazon. Or you can buy it from Amscope directly, which is what I usually recommend. Yeah, it's the cheapest thing that works quite well. It also comes with wide field 20x lenses. These are 20 millimeter outer diameter lenses that it uses, so you don't have the same versatility as like a 28 or 30 mil microscope, where there's a lot of different attachments and things. I was looking at getting like a Sony E-mount camera adapter for it, but the smallest size they make those in is 28 millimeter, and I'm not going to use a step down adapter for that at that point. I'm better off getting like a trinocular like 30 millimeter OD lensed scope, you know, one with a big arm, because this is it's a little front heavy, especially when you have it up this high. Like, don't get me wrong, the base is pretty beefy. It's just I also have it, you know, I have the arm angled, which I probably shouldn't, because that takes the center of gravity and pulls it this way. Let's see here. All right, we're going to shove our red probe on ground. I need a sharper. I need new probes. Like bad. Yikes. You know what? I might just plug it into that, and then use where is it? You know what? This would actually work. Improvise. Adapt. Overcome. A capacitor or resistor I can't see. I have a tool specifically for this problem. And that is a pig hair brush. It's made for glue removal. Let's see here. And there's a short circuit right there. You just rip that capacitor off like it's a bad tooth, as MD Repair says. Now let's check our connector here. Was that the guy? That was not the guy. We still have an issue. So keep poking. Keep on poking. Welcome in, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. As you can tell, we have an iPhone 11. Let's see. It's all of those guys, huh? It is all of those little guys. Oh, I got a new thing. It's nice. One of those aluminum syringe pushers. I'm not even melting the solder, I'm just heating it up to soften it, so that I can just pop those capacitors off to see if they're the problem child. Let's see. Alright, so the problem is deeper. It's fun. But it's probably not the PMIC, because our wireless charging coil is not shorted to ground. Unless those are different pins on the PMIC for this model. There's a possibility. I don't know. Oh, those pins look fine. Those pins. What can we see here? I'm gonna check the right now I'm checking for sandwich separation issues. So I'm looking at the seam along the whole board. which there is a sandwich separation issue here. See, I can insert my tool here, but I can't insert my tool over here. So there's a possibility that there's a broken or shifted solder ball between this top board and this bottom board. Which that's fun. We love doing that. Okie doke. Sucks to say this, but I'm probably gonna have to get, let's see, could be an Amscope SE 400Z. That might be it. Now that I'm done with it, I think the model name is literally behind my logo here. No, that's just the Amscope logo. Does not fucking say. So, your guess is as good as mine. I'm sure I could find like the manual for it somewhere. But it's a, you know, it's a binocular microscope. The manual is one of those manuals that you remove from the packaging and immediately discard. Because it does one thing. There's nothing complicated about it. So yeah, this one I'm going to have to talk to the customer and see if they want to go further with this, if they want to replace the board, whether they need their data off of it or what. I'd like to fix it directly, like right now. But as this is a customer's phone, you know, I'm going to want to get approval so I can get, you know, paid for my time and effort. And they might not just, they just might not even care about the data and be like, yeah, how much does it cost to replace the board? Because iPhone 11 boards are fairly cheap these days. And if they want to go that route, I can do whatever I want to this board. Assuming they don't want the data off of it. All right. Well, then we move on to the next thing. Set this over here. I'll call the customer here after the stream. I've got this. So this amplifier here, this is the preamp board. It's the input. guys up here. And if I can just get it to line up nicely here. Almost there. It's hard to hold this steady. And it doesn't want to compensate for the exposure properly. There we go. So up over here, it would stop. There we go. That's where an operational amplifier chip goes. There where it says U4. Will the exposure compensation just relax? You move the light even further away. There we go. Now you can kind of see. Almost. Yeah, so that's where an op amp goes. There was I've already ultrasonicked this board and removed the burnt out chip. But yeah, this was all liquid damaged from beer, just in this region right here. So yeah, I know. YouTube's complaining about the orientation of the video. They feel the need to remind you that, yeah, you're streaming vertical. You're holding your phone horizontally. But yeah, it's this same chip here. Goes there. And you have, for every input, you have an identical circuit. So this is an identical circuit, this is an identical circuit, as well as here and here, like for each channel of audio. And this is an identical circuit. So pretty much everything that's removed here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 SMD components, as well as the chip itself, will need replaced, which I have already ordered and received what I need. But yeah, I have several reference circuits to get my values from. Let's see. Jumper wire. IC audio 2. 8 SOIC. I think this is it. Yeah, those are the chips right there. So I think there might be a little bit of trace repair that needs done here. Because last I looked at this, linear regulators, caps. Oh yeah, there are 2 caps that go here. I forget the values of these. Shoot. I'll have to dig around in the screw container for this, because that's probably where I threw them. See, there's the XLR jack that I removed. It goes right here. 100 UF. Okay. Which I have some 100 UF caps in here. Somewhere. Microfarad. Wait, are these hundreds? Oh no, those are tens. Okay. I can read sometimes. There we go. 10 UF solid polymer capacitors. These are the good ones. These are Nichicons. little blue boys. These last forever. Oh yes, beer damage. Yes, it is in fact beer damage. When I was working with Dave and Buster's years ago, many folks would place their beer on top of a ball game, play it, finish it, realize their beer had spilled all down. Oh no. Yeah, I need to. I'm actually going for my birthday. I'm going to this bar locally that their thing is they have pinball machines and arcade machines at this bar, and yeah, I'm gonna bring a pile of my business cards because doing arcade boards and restoring arcade machines. Also, may or may not be working on a vintage pinball machine right now. You might see more. That'll definitely be a video. Spoiler alert. Yeah. So before I get drunk and have fun, probably drop off a couple flyers, couple business cards. I don't know who's doing their service right now, but hey, they could be desperate for people that know what they're doing with that kind of stuff. Who knows? I will find out. Because where I currently am, I'm ready to take on more business than I currently am doing. I mean, if I don't, advanced device repair might not be a thing in the future, but yeah. There are opportunities everywhere. Yeah, these are really nice caps. These are 20,000 hour rated caps. I really like these. I just wish they made more values and more voltage ranges. Speaking of, oh, those are 25 volt. They'll be fine. Okay. I didn't even think about the voltage rating of those. I just wish they made these solid polymer or hybrid polymer capacitors in a wider range of values and form factors in through hole, because they're the best thing ever for replacing capacitors on existing things, servicing, especially audio equipment. They're the nicest thing, because I know they're not going to boil off their electrolyte, because they literally physically can't. And their parasitics are incredible. They have very low parasitics. Yeah, these things are great, but you only really have a lot of good options for values and voltage ranges and qualities. You only have good options for a lot of values in SMD. And using an SMD capacitor in a through-hole part in its place is difficult, typically. You know what? I'm not going to put that one in yet. I'm going to wait till I do everything over here. Even though you physically can't boil off the electrolyte on hybrids like this, I still do not want to heat damage the plastic insulation on the inside of it. You can still do that. You can still heat damage it. Ugh. And since I'm probably going to need to do some hot air on these chips, there's a pro tip for you guys, by the way. If you need to replace one chip on a thing, order 3. Just do it. Makes your life so much easier. Because for all I know, when this was liquid damaged, we shorted out something over here and it fried this one as well. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 of the same operational amplifier chip on this board. It's just a bunch of these and a controller. That's all it is. So I ordered 3, just in case there's another one on here that's cooked that I was unaware of. Because this amplifier, believe it or not, actually worked. It would just refuse to play certain frequencies. And, yeah, it was a preamp issue. because of the good old beer damage. Pinball is amazing, though. Pinball is so annoying to work on. Oh, yes. Last one I did was a bully, and man, that was a ride. Yes. Especially if it's all... If you have a modern one that has computing, sometimes they're a little easier, actually. But the ones that are all relays, just relays everywhere, oof, those are a doozy. It's all contactors and relays, like full analog. All right, where is pin 1 on these? This is a 4580 op-amp chip. And pin 1 is there, so it goes in this orientation here, like so. Right there. Okie doke. These traces have come up off the board a little bit here. So we're going to get our spicy lamp out here. Ultraviolet curing lamp. And some UV green solder mask. Grab one of these foam Q-tips that has probably been used before for something else. Goop a bunch of that on there. And then I did not get enough on there. Let me put it on with this thing. Yeah, this tube is almost gone. Because I painted a solder mask on a whole board that had... It was an old arcade board, and like the solder mask had like flaked off the entire board. So I silk screened on fresh solder mask. Because it was a full restoration, and... You know, you may as well at that point. But it takes very little when you're doing board repair like this. It takes very little of this stuff to do the trick. Oh, my neighbor's dogs are freaking out about something. Right outside my window. Push that trace back into place. I even cover up the actual pads that I'm going to solder to. And we go subtractive. So I'll grind away the cured solder mask off the pads that I'm going to solder to. This little anchor block over here, the USB controller on it is so freaking annoying. It's dumb. It'll just sometimes decide to turn off the ports until you unplug and replug them a couple times. There goes my voice. Voice is gone, officially. It only takes an hour and 15 minutes of streaming before I've yapped my voice away. Alright, so we're just going to cure that stuff with our lamp here. It's very purple. Also very safe to stare directly into, from what I've been told. Good for the eyeballs. Good for the eyeball holes. If you're really, really impatient and you're doing this, you can actually use a little bit of hot air as well as your ultraviolet light. to like turbo cure your UV solder mask. That's a tip I learned from Alex at Northbridge Fix. Why is this my camera so blurry? Is it dirty? Maybe a little bit. Might just be that I have crap lighting in here. I need to put lighting up in the fume hood, like good lighting. I did install a light up here. I found that light on clearance at Home Depot. The ticket price for that light was like $144, and here it was on the clearance rack for $10. And I'm like, there was an employee standing right there, and I'm like, am I crazy, or does that say was $144, now 10? And it's like a high quality, like indoor outdoor light fixture. It's nice. And they're like, yeah, no, you're not crazy. That is the price. It is probably the last one of its kind. And I'm like, well, I'll take it. And then I installed it up there, and it's a nice light. I like it. For $10, can't beat that, right? That light cost me the same amount as my fume hood. I bought this fume hood for $10 as well. But I got this from an auction. Yeah, I got a whole fume hood for $10. The only other one of this model that I could find online was $300 freight, $1,000 for the hood. So $300 shipping, $1,000 for the hood was what that was. And I got this one for $10. Neighbor's dog is getting my dog riled up. Might have to go put on like an old Louis Rossman stream for her. You'd be surprised how effective throwing like an old like Louis Rossman stream on the TV in the living room is for keeping your dog entertained while you're trying to get things done. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Now that trace is not going anywhere. Cannot move it anymore. Do our continuity checks. Good, good, good. Oh wait, that's not ground. This is ground, right here. Good, good. And anything else that's sketchy? Nothing like absurdly sketchy. If I was being nitpicky, which sometimes I am, there's a little bit of the copper showing on one of these joints over here. Grab a little bit of that. Where the copper is showing. scoop some goop on there. That stuff's dried out on that cloth. Just I might need to open a new tube of solder mask. I might have needed to for the last week and just kind of avoided it. I don't feel like doing that. There's still plenty of solder mask in there, you know? You just have to work for it. Goop that on there. Come on. Oh, there's a whole bunch. There we go. This is not the ideal tool for applying solder mask. There we go, there we go. Move it up over here. Then there's another spot over here that was showing copper. You know, it might actually be valid to be worrying about solder masking where there's exposed copper on this particular board, because this is, you know, it's an all-in-one speaker amp unit, so it's subject to a lot of vibration. So if you have a trace that isn't attached, there is a possibility that you vibrate the copper so much that it disconnects itself. Is it likely? Not really. But it is a possibility. A little bit of copper over here too. Mask all that up. And if you're going to do a job, you may as well do a good job, right? Something like that. Get rid of that glove. All right. I like to do this for a living. Yeah, you and me both, buddy. I do this for money. Is it a living? Not yet. We're getting there. You know, business usually takes a year, or sometimes even 2 or more, to pay for itself. I'm still working all kinds of side, like, contracting work. I did not cure that solder mask. Where did the lamp go? You see, it doesn't... This stupid anchor block, you gotta unplug it and replug it. And then, boom, it turns on. So yeah, cure that up. I need to figure out the values of all those components that surround it, the little resistors and capacitors. Get out the SMD books or donor boards, one or the other. But at least I have 23 other identical circuits on this board to compare to. which is kind of handy. For those of you wondering, if you blow a little hot air on UV solder mask, this is oh no, this is tool. Tool. T-U-L. Tool. Brand solder mask. If you blow a little hot air on any solder mask while you're curing it, it'll speed up the curing like tenfold. Get it nice and dry and hard. Especially if you are like me and you over goop everything and then grind away the pads you want to solder to with a grinder. Or scrape it away with an X-Acto knife. Some people don't use the grinding pins. They're old school. They use X-Acto knives. Yeah, that is fully cured. A little bit of a, like 300-degree air goes a long ways. Let's see, where am I? Here am I. Mm-hmm. There you go. Bleat, indeed, Jackie. I don't know how much time you've spent around real-life deer, but they're usually pretty quiet. They don't bleat often, but when they do, you definitely hear it. Let's see here. Line this up. Yeah, so that's looking a lot better. Right there. If the exposure would stop doing that, you might be able to kind of see what's going on. You say bleat? I assume you're bleating. It tends to be the thing that you have said a lot. I assume it's the reference to the deer persona. But I could be totally misguided in that. Maybe it's an acronym. I don't make a lot of assumptions. I assumed it was a deer persona thing. Because that is sort of the sound mini-hooved mammals make. I repair everything, nothing excluded. I'm a carpenter. I like doing electrical and PCB repair. Excellent, that's awesome. My dad's a woodworker. I'm an electronics repair guy. Am I a good woodworker? I've picked up some skills, but nah. I haven't dedicated the hours to learning it well. I know how to do a lot more than an average person, but like, do I think I'm good at it? No. One of those things where it's like I know enough to know exactly how much I don't know, kind of thing. This, on the other hand, I've been doing this for a long time. Line that up. Would you prefer standalone microscope camera. Depends. Ideally, you know, if budget was not a concern, I'd get a trinocular setup so that you have your binocular viewfinder and then a third objective. Or a third secondary, same objective. And then you can just mount a straight down. They sell like little HDMI microscope camera boxes. That would be the ideal situation is, you know, you have, I'm looking through here and you're looking through here kind of setups. Amscope has quite a few trinocular setups. They're about like 300-ish, that kind of setup, 350-ish. And yeah, it's definitely on the list for when that kind of money's here. I should put this back in the tripod so I can use both my hands. Probably should. Be a good idea. Move that over here. These aren't... Well, that one's removable, but these are hard soldered on both ends. They're not actually Molex connectors, they're just hard jumpers, which makes this whole board really annoying to work with. If I were a more intelligent person, I'd probably put the board in a holder. For those of you wondering what the model of this is, it's a it's an Alto Professional TS 215. I think Mend It Mark actually made a video recently repairing one of these amplifiers. I remember seeing that in my feed and was like, huh, I have one of those on the bench. Oh, hey, there's cameraman calling. 50-year-old, been doing this a while myself. Will now have slow my roll, so to say. Yeah, I mean, doing this kind of stuff gets stressful. And, like, just keeping up with stuff, like, I look at the newest iPhones and I'm so lost because I used to be doing phone repair every single day, and now it's like I haven't bothered keeping up with it. Like, it all moves so fast with tech. And some of, like, the device-specific knowledge is, like, very use it or lose it, as they say. But, you know, your basics, like your troubleshooting, your soldering, you know, critical thinking, that never goes away. But being up with, you know, the times, as they say. And, you know, I'm young, and I still feel like it's hard to keep up with everything that goes on in, like, the tech space and whatnot, how things change. I couldn't imagine how it feels after, you know, several decades of doing this. Definitely a job that requires a lot of adaptability, that's for sure. I'll call my cameraman back later. Or you could just text me. That's also a thing. He might have. I haven't even looked. No, he didn't. There we go. Yeah. Okay, nothing important. Nothing too crazy important. Alright, get that capacitor shoved in there. Get that capacitor shoved in there. Yeah, replacing these electrolytics with the hybrid polymer ones, the body is just so much smaller. If you look here, let me grab you. I'll bring you in tight. Sorry, everyone's calling me. Yeah, Jackie, I'll talk to you in Discord. It's my birthday, so I'm getting a bunch of phone calls. But if you look at the silk screen around where the caps used, the original electrolytic caps are, they're like 20% smaller. It just looks kind of funny. Yeah, keeping up with it all it's a Sisyphusian task, without a doubt. But not to get philosophical or anything, but I enjoy rolling my boulder up my hill. There we go, get those leads clipped. Alright, now I need to measure some things. Happy birthday indeed, Jackie. I happen to have a propensity for problem solving, so I have a lot of hobbies. I get bored easy. Yep. I can definitely relate there, brother. Like, that is in fact the way it is for me. I have a perpetual need to challenge myself. Otherwise, I'm not comfortable in my own skin, something like that. If I don't feel like I'm learning, progressing as a person, I'm not happy. That's why I'm doing board repair. I started out just doing, like laptop and cell phone repair, replacing modular components. And I'm like, you want to do something that's more and more challenging as you get better and better at the thing you do. I've never really limited myself in, difficulty repair. I've always been willing to take a swing at things. And it's definitely paid off for me. Alright, so those resistors there. Let me look at this other identical circuit right next to it. Are going to be 01C, 10 kilo ohm. I think 01C is 10 kilo ohm. Yeah, because those look at the other circuits. Yeah. Zero one C, 01C, 01E. I don't know if the letter at the end makes a big difference. 01B, 01C. Yeah. I know the second digit is thousands of ohms, typically. Good grief, the parts list. Thousands of MOSFETs. Yep. Phew. Yeah, there are a lot of different parts out there. And you tend to collect just parts that you'll never see again. Like, I don't know. There's a 7-segment LED display driver. Actually, those are pretty universal. What's something weird I got in here? There are said 7-segment LED displays. This isn't the bin that has all the cool stuff. This is mostly phone parts. Let's see, what else we got in here? Oh yeah, a DIP 16 phase lock loop chip. There's a nugget for you. I actually have that specifically for making a guitar pedal that I'm working on. That's not even for a repair. Just weird stuff you collect. Oh yeah, I think the chips that you commonly see in switch mode power supplies change like every 2 or 3 years. Assuming you're looking at the same manufacturer. There are certainly you know, certain chips that certain manufacturers like to use. And then there's, there's your all-encompassing stuff like your Infineons and your Texas Instruments, so on and so forth. Some of those companies that you see in almost everything. Something by Samsung, something by Texas Instruments. Oh yeah, if you do music stuff and electronics, those two things are a recipe for hoarding weird, obsolete components, let me tell you. I have a lot of old, weird analog bits for repairing like old Fender amps, tube amps, old radios. The stuff that is in demand to be able to repair, and they don't really make anymore. Mm-hmm. I've got a buddy who's a retired electrical engineer that's been building like guitar amplifiers, and he's really into guitars and stuff. He used to be in a band back in the day. He also teaches guitar. Some no-name band, but they toured with some big names back in the day. His words, not mine, like one of those forgettable opening bands that opened for the band you really like. One of those. I don't even know what the band's name is. I just know the guy. My dad finishes his guitars. He gave me my first oscilloscope. Really cool guy. So whenever there's like a weird old like amplifier part I'm looking for that you can no longer just order off DigiKey or Mauser or something, I'm always asking him to go look around in his basement stash because he doesn't do a lot of electronics work anymore. He's retired. The only thing he does is build guitars. He's got so many cool amplifiers and receivers and stuff that he doesn't have the time to enjoy the ones he currently has, let alone repairing or building new ones. Let's see, I need like a tiny piece of jumper wire. Usually there's some like just chilling over here on the mat. Like little torn up pieces of solder wick. Yeah, alright, well, give me a... Yeah, I mean, college isn't for everyone. I dropped out of college. I started a business. You know, I do HVAC and run an electronics repair company. Find it far more rewarding than the academic grind. I'm, you know, very scientific minded. I enjoy science and such. It's just academia wasn't for me. Just didn't seem practical enough. I didn't feel like I was growing and progressing at the rate I'm capable of. You know, in college, also just it's expensive. So like the results I was seeing as far as like furthering my knowledge and bettering myself was not equal to the price of going. And I continue to stand by that for at least me personally, is you know, I can teach myself anything quicker than I could you know, just pursuing self-education, reading scholarly articles, watching YouTube videos. I can learn anything I need to know much quicker and much cheaper than any university is offering. Is that for everyone? No. Some people require, you know, more guided education, but I have a very poor relationship with not knowing how something works. Drives me insane. If I don't understand how something works and I realize that, it will bother me until I go figure it out. Thus, I have spent many, many nights reading a whole Wikipedia page for some obscure scientific topic. You ever just get one of those questions tickling the back of your brain and you go and read a whole Wikipedia page? And it's another Sisyphusian task doing that, because once you read the whole Wikipedia page, you have 10 more questions. Come on. My iron's too hot to just tap it and have the jumper wire stick. There we go. Where did that this cable? Plug this in, we'll use the micro pencil. Yeah, that, and you know, as someone who is on their second business, you know, I started a business when I was 18 and had no idea what I was doing, which, you know, failed miserably, as that sort of thing does. You know, at the age of 23, I'm like, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Or, no, I was 24. You know, as far as having a degree, I have no one to prove to that I know what I'm doing with what I am doing, other than myself. If I was seeking employment at an established company, it might be a different story about how I treat the value of a degree. But if you own the company that's doing the thing, no one questions whether or not you're able to do the thing, right? I know that doesn't apply to a lot of STEM fields, but electronics is one of those things that if you know your stuff, you know your stuff, right? But lots and lots of companies care less and less about degrees these days. They care about competence and experience far more than whether or not you were able to jump through some hoops. I'll be honest with you guys. I know some real dumbasses with master's degrees. And I know some incredibly intelligent people that have never been in a college classroom. You know, having a degree only says so much about your ability. Yes, you were exposed to this information at some point in time. Do you still know any of that stuff? Who knows? It has its place. It has its purpose. You know, if you want to work in the medical field, a degree is a must. But other than law, medicine, engineering for an established company, science, if you want to go into the research field, you really just don't need it. Now, college is a great thing. You can learn a lot at college, but I don't recommend it going to college unless you know exactly what job you want, like job title wise, when you graduate. Otherwise, I would get an internship rather than start college. That's my personal take. If you have that kind of money to waste, you can go to college not knowing what you want to do with that degree, or even not knowing what degree you want in the first place. Plenty of people do, but just know you're paying mostly for a fun experience and exposing yourself to, different cultures and ideas and stuff, rather than, getting a solid education. Because, yes, you're learning things, but will you ever use that knowledge? It highly depends on what you're trying to do. Yeah, adapt science is an important thing that you know. Yeah, learning what you don't know is a skill that is few and far between. Being able to figure out where the gaps of your knowledge are and being able to accurately place yourself as far as experience and understanding, it's something that does not come naturally. Not at all. It's something that must be taught and learned. Which, do they teach that in college? I don't know, maybe. I only went there like a year and a half. But I have a great education background, prior to college. I don't see my educational background as even close to typical. Yeah, there's a lot less intelligent people in college and teaching than the ones actually applying the craft. Yeah, especially with like skilled trade stuff, like engineering and electrical work. Welding, industrial fabrication, machining, stuff like that. The best way to learn that is to go find a guy that knows how to do that and pay close attention. that is a skill that they really should teach in college, is figuring out how to find people that really, really know what they're talking about the thing you're trying to learn. That's a skill. That's a skill they should teach in high school, honestly. All right. So that's installed. I'm going to figure out what value of components all of these op-amp circuits. So this op-amp we just installed is the same as 23 others on these boards. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 there. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14. Yeah, there's 20. I double counted one. There's 23 of the same op-amp with the same circuit around it, compared to this one that I'm replacing. So I got to figure out all those values. I'm probably going to do that off stream, because digging up those SMD components out of the parts bins is going to be a pain in the butt. And there will probably be 1 or 2 parts that, yeah, those resistors. I'm going to have to find those resistors on the donor board, which is going to be a pain in my neck. I'm not waiting 2 or 3 days to order it from DigiKey. So that's probably where I'm going to end stream. But yeah, we definitely made some progress on that. We definitely made a lot of progress on this. I don't know if you were here for the iPhone 11 that I was working on. I do public all the VODs for all these streams, so if you want to go back and watch other stuff I've worked on and other things that I've ranted about, be my guest. I hope you all enjoyed. I will see you guys, hopefully more this year than you did last year. All right, peace.